Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to announce a panel discussion, the acceleration of industrial transformation through research and innovation, that will be led by Katarzyna Walczyk-Matuszyk, Head of Innovation, Coach Project in the Center of EU Research Project in the Institute of Fundamental Technological Research, Polish Academy of Science. And on the stage, I would like to invite Dr. Peter Droell, who is already with us, Pekka Koponen, President, European Association of Innovation Consultants, Zygmunt Krasiński, President, Polish Chamber of Commerce for Advanced Technologies, is coming on time, Jara Pascual, founder and CEO, Collabwith Group BV. Roland Strauss, founder and managing director of Knowledge for Innovation. And now I will give the floor the moderator, Katarzyna Walczyk-Matuszyk.
Thank you very much, Chair, for the introduction of me as a moderator and also the distinguished panelists. So, as mentioned, I will have the privilege to moderate the session, the acceleration of industrial transformation through research and innovation. And personally, I really hope that being a moderator, I will cope with the benchmark Professor Buzek drew in the first plenary session. So it shall be, I hope, to be at least in some percentage to be as inspiring as the previous moderator. So you know already my panelists. Hopefully the last one will join us as well during the discussion. Oh, you are here, Krzysztof. So Krzysztof Krystowski, who is the president of the Polish Cluster Association, expert in the EU Cluster Policy Group and vice president of the EU Cluster Alliance. So we are now in a complete team for the discussion for this panel. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are in Wrocław, in Poland, in the Central Eastern Europe. And as you had the opportunity to listen to the previous panel discussion as well as the keynotes, you noticed that we concentrated mostly on the widening countries, on the innovation divide and on the cohesion. And it will be as well the focus of the discussion related to the second panel session. So we would like to streamline the discussion over the digital transformation in a view of innovation divide and fostering innovation cohesion. As we think that these points are necessary to fully use the Europe's potential and ensure its leadership at the global scale. In our today panel discussion, then, we will tackle upon European innovative ecosystem, its strengths and weaknesses, and last but not least, of course, we will as well try to discuss possible solution on how to effectively tackle the barriers. Let's start with the first topic, which is the EU definition related to innovation. The definition focuses over the deep tech and startups, and it puts at the heart of the intervention those, let's say, two areas. However, other areas such as social innovation or scale-ups proved to foster the transformation process as well. But my question to the panelists is now, is such concentration a specialization which supports the Europe global leading position, or is a limitation to create the EU powerhouse? I would like to ask the first panelist, Jara, from your experience, please.
I think that's a very good baseline question. What is innovation? Innovation is bringing value from creativity. So we define creativity as ideas, ideation, but as well bringing value, so impact, which means has to be these ideas and innovation has to be adopted. So that's the part of the definition of innovation. And then talking about the deep tech and this focus on deep tech, we have to know, like, when we apply high technology and deep tech, we are doing a social transformation when this deep tech is adopted. So we have, apparently in the innovation agenda is not reflected this, and it's very important to acknowledge, like when we are doing innovation, we are doing a transformation, a social transformation, an economic transformation. And this kind of Professor Droell said, this holistic approach has to be taken into account. And as well, innovation is not only coming from startups. The innovation ecosystem actors and stakeholders are as well research, university, academics. They are venture capital as well. They are the scale-ups. And when we are thinking about what we need in the ecosystem to make this adoption of the innovation, then we are thinking about, as well, we have to have experts of marketing, of selling innovation, of adopting, and then is coming the public procurement of innovation into place, and as well the part of mindset. So we have to have the organizations who are innovative to be able to adopt these new ideas, processes, services, invention from research, and this kind of knowledge, then we change the whole program. But as well as Professor Dr. Droell said, sustainability, so it's not in the innovation agenda. So everything, digital transformation, sustainability, resilience has to be horizontal to the whole deep tech. And this is, I hope this answered the question.
Yes, thank you very much for this holistic vision and the comment. Now I'd like to ask Krzysztof. You are collaborating on a daily basis with many Polish small and medium-sized enterprises. So what would be your opinion in regard to this EU definition on innovation?
Good afternoon for everybody. Thank you for inviting me here, and I think that I could be a bit a voice of SMEs because I am representative of clusters community. Just to inform all of you that clusters in Europe is a community of almost 3,000 organizations throughout the European Union, which are mainly representatives of SMEs. More than 90% of clusters members are small and medium-sized enterprises. And clusters are responsible, those companies which belongs to clusters are responsible for almost 25% of employment in the European Union. And from SMEs, about 10 to 12% of all European SMEs belong to clusters. And there are some countries like Sweden, for example, where more than 51% of SMEs belong to clusters. So we are organizations which have direct contact, daily contact with SMEs. We are organizations which are not representatives of their interest. We are not dealing with regulations, but we are working with them, supporting companies which belongs to cluster in their innovativeness, thanks to the fact that that also important members of clusters are R&D institutions. So we build natural bridges between industry, between companies, and R&D institutions. So we could call ourselves as tools for this acceleration of industrial transformation through research and innovation, as is a title of our discussion. What I would like to point out is that even though majority of clusters are dealing with areas of high tech, there is a lot of clusters which are working on fields of traditional industry. So this is something to say that that not only those ICT aerospace and other famous automotive, etc. sectors are those drivers of innovation, but also that there are traditional sectors which need those innovation not less than those very highly advanced. I mean, for example, agriculture, agro-food, generally speaking, or construction. So we have a lot of members who are dealing in these traditional sectors. And what is our goal? Because as was mentioned by Katarzyna, I am also a member of expert group of European Union for cluster policy. And this group produced a report, and this report in this European Commission expects from us, from clusters, to be engaged in three main activities. First is green transition. The second one is digitalization, this digital transition of industry, of all sectors. And also what I said before about green technologies. Now we are not discussing, it was some years ago, about that we just said before that there are some green sectors. No, what is expected now by Green Deal, by European Union, is to consider all of us, all sectors, all industrial ecosystems to be more green. So it means in every sector we have to find place to promote green solutions. Digitalization is the same situation. So we are not discussing now only about digitalization as a development of ICT sector. No, we are discussing about pushing ICT solutions to every, even traditional sectors, and also, very important from our perspective, to push it and to promote it in SMEs, because a lot of SMEs don't have this still, they don't have this knowledge how much ICT digital solutions could help in increasing their competitiveness. And the third one element, it is something which was mentioned by Jara as well, is about ability to adjust to changes. So this is this English word I forget now. Okay, adoption. No, this is another word, which came from the fact which we found out during COVID crisis, that European industry has to be more resilience. Yeah, famous resilience. Sorry, I forget the word. So should be more resilient, should be more responsive for every type of crisis, disruptions of supply chains, and we have to be more focused also on that. So my voice here is to say, please, we should consider innovation not as some special type of activity only in high-tech industries, but in entire European industry to increase its competitiveness.
Thank you very much for your voice and pointing out as well the traditional industries. So, dear panelists, does any one of you would like to add your thoughts to this discussion point related to the EU innovation definition? So we had a EU innovation ecosystem, mindset, resilience, traditional industries, the broad, let's say, overview. Because I would like to make a session interactive between you as well. So does anyone of you? Roland?
Yeah, thank you.
Please.
Thank you, with pleasure. And thank you to Zygmunt for the invitation, but I think he was a bit obliged to invite me because I invited him to Brussels last June to the first European Innovation Area Summit, so he could not really not invite me. Well, the European Innovation Area Summit is a new concept that we launched in Knowledge for Innovation. We brought more than 10,000 innovation experts to the European Parliament in Brussels since 2008, and we discussed in about 600 events in the European Parliament about innovation, about research, about science, about what we can do with it. But we have never had a definition for innovation. So for us, innovation, first of all, must have a purpose. And this is why our future Knowledge for Innovation 2.0 will have a focus on innovation for purpose. Deep tech is certainly an important dimension for the future of innovation in Europe, but I think if we make sure that the huge investment in research and innovation, the great knowledge base we develop, in the end will serve us and help us to achieve a sustainable future, then we got it right. That's my...
Thank you very much. Pekka, please.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm Pekka Koponen. I'm representing the Association of Innovation Consultants in Europe. So I guess we should be able to define the innovation. We have 54 members from 28 countries. One of our Polish members is here. Credo Magda is there right now taking a picture. Hello. I think I'd like to share some examples about the successful innovation, but I think the Commissioner Gabriel said something very, very important today when she defined deep tech innovation, when he also said that it's the next big revolution. There is a misconception about deep tech definition. Originally, or some people consider it's about deep science and applying that. But Commissioner Gabriel said it's about solving deep societal challenges. And it's kind of for all of us to do. And I think the big challenge that all of us together need to solve is how we find the complementary partners who solve these societal challenges. Each one of them is too big for any one player to do. First example, what I'd like to solve is about Polish-originated startup in Finland. And we learned quite recently that a Finnish satellite company has donated a satellite to Ukraine. And it's a LiDAR-based satellite, so it can see through the clouds, it can see during the night, and it can read the things like where are the troops that you would like to attack. And this data is now freely available for the Ukrainian army. History of the company is that there was a Polish student who went to study in Finland. He created that company in Finland, and now they have raised about 100 million euros of venture capital money, and now they are fighting for Ukraine with us. So what's the learning of the story? Is actually I learned from my Polish partner who said that if you want to solve a big problem, send a Polish person abroad. First one was Marie Sklodowska-Curie. There are bigger partnerships that are needed. So my company Spinverse, we are the largest innovation consultancy in Nordic countries. With 100 people, we have raised about 1 billion euros of EU funding for our clients. We recently built a project for KDT platform where it's about IoT solutions for harsh conditions. So there are industrial partners for machinery, mining, energy, automotive, and so on. And then these industrial partners are from countries like Finland, Sweden, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium. And then we have also partners from Latvia, from Czech Republic, and from Poland, where the Lushevich Institute, ITE Institute, is developing sensors for all these applications. And I think this is an excellent example how innovation is created. All of these problems that are solved in these industries are deep societal problems. And the Polish science is now kind of participating that. And these networks, and consortia, they are not easy to build because you need to find the best expertise from all places, match them together, then facilitate the winning application and also manage it for a successful project.
Thanks. Peter?
Very, very briefly.
Of course.
I'm thinking hard what to do so that Zygmunt is obliged to invite me next time as well. But just to summarize and to check with you, Jara, we can do it on first name basis like in Brussels, right? The focus on deep tech in our new European innovation agenda, as also discussed with our Commissioner Gabriel earlier today, is the sweet spot between the strong science base we have, the engineering capacities, the manufacturing capacities we have, and the broader science. So I don't think it's excluding the aspects of social innovation where we do a lot. Maybe we just need to have this in mind in the implementation, to have also looking at business models. I still think Europe, we are not giving enough attention to business models. That's also what I meant earlier on in the transformation. We need to review our business models, and that should not be forgotten and will not be forgotten under the new European Innovation Agenda.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter, for this clarification. How about valorization of the research results in this context then? Because we think, especially here, we feel that this is still lagging behind.
That's also what we see. And that's why we started a valorization policy. There is a lot happening in individual projects, at regional level, at cluster level. I'm a fan of clusters, Krzysztof, by the way. But we are not as good as the best, and we're not yet making the best out of it. So the different things we can do, and we are doing. We are currently agreeing with member states on 7 guiding principles for knowledge valorization. Incentives, how to deal with policy, how to transfer the mindset from protecting intellectual property to using it as an asset, like you would use your assets on the bank account, to standardization. So that's one aspect where we do right now really define policy together at European level. And secondly, it's going to the practical level. Standards are a very important element, so we are together, and we are a global standard setup, but we can do more. Intellectual property I mentioned, but perhaps the biggest also in the biggest element also in the context of widening is industry-academia cooperation. And
of course. Yes, please, because there are some. Jara has some concept.
Thank you, Peter. Now we can say the names. So the part of the collaboration, industry collaboration, and I think the key of valorization of research into process services, solutions, we can say innovative solutions for the society. The mindset, even the legal mindset of intellectual property and assets, the big issue if we are talking about resilience, so it's more about emotional intelligence. The emotions playing a huge role in this is when an academic or researcher, they think like innovation or commercialization is not something they are doing. So the value they have is more as an intellectual value. So it's how to translate this into I am making impact with my knowledge. So this is one of the translations of the mindset, to be resilient, and as well, like it's okay to receive money from an industry partner to bring this impact to the society. So to do something, because they want to create impact, but how is the wording is make a huge difference. And as well from industry perspective about emotions, they are thinking, well, the research is free, no? Because they are working at university, so why it's public, so why I have to pay for this knowledge? So as well at industry level, we have to educate in this sense to say, I pay because I respect and I value the knowledge and solutions coming from university. And this is the mindset we have to shift, to say, I value, I respect, I am professional, and that's why I pay for this high-level knowledge the university is bringing to me when we are in this collaboration. So that's the trick, and is as well the mindset to have all together, because we are a puzzle pieces here, so all together we are creating this new value. We are doing better solutions. We are doing better products, better services for the planet, for the society, for the industry, for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this interesting approach. Indeed, we are mostly focusing on the hard instruments, financial support, and many times underestimating the mindset, the culture. So I believe it's a lot to be done. Pekka and then Zygmunt.
Yeah, a quick comment on the valorization and then on the IP. The first one, I think the most typical issue when we fail in valorization is that we first do the research and then do the valorization. And kind of we start with the research problem, which is scientific. Which is important. Kind of we need to push the boundaries of science, but kind of all the successful valorizations, what I have seen, they have started as a real-life problem, which often comes from industry. Why does it come from industry? Is that industry lives for solving societal challenges. They listen to the people for problems and then they invent solutions for that. If they fail to understand societal problems, they are dead. And in Finland, 15 years ago, I did a study. We went through something like 100 research projects in materials science. And I would say 95% of those, the result was not relevant for industry because it wasn't good enough. There was always something that was kind of on the market, already existing solution, which anybody in industry would have known immediately. We changed our innovation policy, but we put quite a lot of money so that industry gets the funding and then kind of orders the results from the research institutes and universities. So the second point, quick about IP. Yes, IP should be paid, and it also should be paid because if it's paid by the public money, and somebody gets a benefit, and especially kind of a sole benefit of that, they need to pay. But main thing is that don't ask too much as an IP holder, because I think the worst case is that we create something with public money and then there is no deal and it doesn't get commercialized because then everybody loses. So fair money, but not too much.
Fair money, exactly. Zygmunt, please share with us your
Jara,
opinion.
this point of collaboration, I think, is also innovation through collaboration is very important. We should remember that in the program Horizon Europe, 2/3 of the budget is dedicated to collaborative projects. So collaboration has a meaning of intersectoral collaboration, so business, industry, and our research institutions, but also the final users, how to create in the friendly way the technological solutions and friendly innovations. It is the first. The second is geographical collaboration, interregional collaboration. And here we can talk about the need for fostering innovation cohesion. What is the challenge for Europe, yes? And the standardization is very, very, very important here, because if we work together, we should try to implement some standards. What we need for Europe now, I think, is, for example, unified method for assessment of a business project value. Yeah, if we introduce such a model, such a standard, it will be much easier to develop our innovative initiatives together. So collaboration, and the next very important issue, financing for innovation, yes? When we talk about Poland, we should say that the engine of the high-tech ecosystem in Poland is EU funding, yeah? Distributed by national agencies, for example, the National Agency for Center for Research and Development, or Polish Agency for Entrepreneurship Development, yes? And in the case of the National Center for Research and Development, we had a chance to listen to the presentation by the director Koch in the morning. 85% of the budget of the agency are the EU funds, for example. That's why it is so important now to start the new period of financing, the cohesion policy from these funds. It is important not just for Poland, not just for Polish high-tech, but also for all Europe, for all European Union. But we should remember about what we already have on the table. We have the Horizon Europe. It is of course the masterclass, yes. But we should try to join these, we can say, consortia, these advanced clubs, and we have many different propositions to do it. For our technical universities, or in general universities, we have the European Alliances of Universities. Perfect, alliances and networks to start also preparing the new application, the common application. For the industry, we have the innovation partnerships also presented in the morning. So this collaboration, I think, using as you said, Katarzyna, fully exploit the potential of all the countries, all the regions through collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zygmunt. So you mentioned the funding, and you mentioned as well the Horizon Europe, and it's very true there is a widening package with the 3.3% of the Horizon Europe budget, with the instruments targeting mostly the academia, like a teaming for excellence, like creating excellence centers and being a leader for the social economic development as well, or let's say ERA talents, fostering the intersectoral collaboration. But now maybe I will target the question to Krzysztof. In a view of digital transformation, what you assess as the needs of the Polish SMEs to step on the higher level, to step forward with this process? What would be your opinion? Zygmunt mentioned funding, but is funding enough?
No. I think the needs of Polish SMEs are quite similar to SMEs from entire Europe. As we work in the European Cluster Alliance, because I didn't mention, I am Vice President of European Cluster Alliance, which is quite a fresh organization of clusters across Europe. We gathered clusters now from 18 countries. We established the organization 2 years ago, and now we represent about 1,000 clusters in Europe, and all those main countries of Europe belongs to our partnership, like France, Germany, Spain, Italy, etc. Generally, Poland, obviously, as well. So we have a recognition that those needs of SMEs in entire Europe are quite similar. SMEs are majority of all companies in Europe, in every country. This is not a difference. And as you said before, what is important is not only about knowledge. This is about understanding of needs of not only of future, of presence even. So everybody has to understand that there is that even old traditional sectors we mentioned before, to develop, they need this digitalization as everybody. So this is what can I say about that. But what I like from previous comments of other panelists is the word cooperation. Cooperation is really very important, and cooperation on many different directions, in many different directions. One cooperation which is crucial for developing innovation is cooperation between companies and R&D institutions. This is very, very important. But we have to not forget about cooperation between companies and companies, what is even called now co-opetition, which means that especially companies belonging to the same clusters very often are competitors. And they have to find, to innovate, they have to find the field in which even they are competitors, they have to cooperate. They have to understand where is this limit up to which we are cooperating, and where is this limit where we can start to compete. So cooperation is really very, very important. And this is, I am fan of clusters as Peter. And this is what we are doing in clusters, because we institutionally, we are building the place where different players could meet, and we establish them opportunity to cooperate. This is very important. You mentioned before about these differences in approach in R&D institutions. Generally speaking, scientists are thinking a bit different, and this is natural. They have different goals than business world. Businessmen thinks about developing their companies, about profits. Now scientists are more focused on finding something new, generally speaking, even though if it is not very practical sometimes. But this is, I represent industry, and I would like to be, even though I would like to be advocate of researchers and scientists, because very often in my society, through business world, there is a lot of criticism about scientists. The people are saying they are so unpractical. Why they don't think about every move should be considered as a future profit. And we in class have to explain people that even though we have different positions in society, different goals, there is an area of cooperation which brings benefits for both sides. But to do that, you have to establish the situation of pending cooperation, which means to give them chance to work together all the time. This is what I'm going to say. Because if this meetings between industry and research are just time to time, this is not enough to understand each other. To understand each other means to start some kind of cooperation, maybe from the beginning for very small projects, maybe not so profit generating, but step by step to know each other better and to build trust between partners. And the same is between companies and companies, because I am also manager of Silesian aviation cluster. We established this cluster 15 years ago, and I remember that the beginning, even though we explained to our colleagues that this is very important to work together for common benefit, everybody tried to be very autonomous. And I remember, just to tell you an anecdote, that we organized one of the first meetings of the cluster, and we tried to convince somebody to join us during the meeting. And we said, please join us because, for example, Andrew and John, they will be also with us. And the guy said, no, if Andrew will be there, I'm not going. So beginning was very, very difficult. And this is, I think, trust is also another word which we should mind here when we are discussing about building common innovations.
Thank you, Krzysztof. Peter, on the point.
Yeah, Krzysztof provoked me to make a very dangerous statement. Because I think you're absolutely right. What SMEs need is also common language with scientists, academia, policy as well, and very concrete measures. And my bold, risky statement is that we have enough instrument at EU level to help SMEs, the digital innovation hubs. I think there are 11 in Poland, 22 million point something from our support from the Digital Europe program. We have open innovation test beds with cascading funding. So maybe you can help, Katarzyna, and the national contact points can help, and you, Krzysztof, to make these links and to build these relations of cooperation and trust.
Thank you very much. And Roland, what would be your advice in regard to foster innovation cohesion?
I remember we organized an event on with the commissioner on fostering innovation cohesion, also with the help of the World Bank. And innovation cohesion is one of our focus, 8 focus areas in the manifesto for the European innovation area. So it is quite prominent in our activities. And yes, we have to find ways and means to enhance collaboration. And the idea of the European innovation area basically is that we should give every innovator, every actor in the innovation ecosystem the possibility, the opportunity to engage with others. So it's also a matter of informing, of creating, of engaging, of I think, Peter, what you said about, or did you speak about this hop up to the cooperation project?
Hop on.
So I think these are
Hop on.
hop on. Yeah, I think these are very good ideas to improve or to foster innovation cohesion.
Thank you. So maybe now we move to the other point, but Zygmunt, I will now give you the floor, but I would like to as well that maybe you mention in your intervention as well on the talents. A lot has been said today on the talents in the EU by during the first panel, also Professor Walczyk in his excellent speech. So EU in general is lacking talents, and talents are leaking, but that part of Europe in particular. So we have, let's say, brain drain, not only from Europe to the world, but also from Central Eastern Europe to the Western Europe and so on. I believe the talents are a very important puzzle, a piece of the puzzle here. How to contribute to the sustainable brain circulation as an element of the innovative ecosystem, on top of what has been said, of course.
Yeah, thank you, Katarzyna. What we should say, that first of all, that we can observe a huge potential for innovation, in particular in the central and eastern part of Europe, and the new generation of innovators is growing. As you can see, what we do as the Polish Chamber of Commerce for High Technology, we represent the high-tech industry, but also research and development units. But we started very concrete cooperation with the doctor candidates and young scientists. That's why the side event to the CETEF'22 is the Young Scientist Day. They need our support. They need the mentors, and they need to find the way how to be engaged, because they are our future, actually. We have a lot of challenges in Europe. What should we do? We need the new generation, open-minded people. They can show us how to collaborate, how to go further, that we count on this generation of new people. So we think we should, first of all, to collaborate with them, to support them as in the best possible way, but also as the chamber, as Roland mentioned, suggestion Roland invited me to the summit last June, because we discussed the new European innovation agenda. And thank you for this invitation, Roland, because I had an occasion to present the position of the chamber on it. And our most important proposition was to start a joint discussion and development of specific dedicated mechanism that could effectively overcome the existing barriers for innovation in the EU and other underrepresented regions. Because we need to unlock the innovative potential in these regions. And we have good practices in Europe. We have the EU innovation leaders according to the European Innovation Scoreboard. So why not, to meet and talk about it, share the experience, create some standards and so on. So we think it could be a good way to overcome and to foster the innovation cohesion.
Thank you, Zygmunt, for this powerful message. Pekka, you wanted to take the floor?
Yes, it's a very, very good summary from Zygmunt. I maybe share a Finnish example, kind of a problem what we are having and how we are coping it with. So we in Finland we have now we have huge lack of people. Kind of we are well known for the Nordic social security system, and but now there is a new calculation which says that we need 500,000, about 10% more people. We had 10% people missing, and if we don't get them somehow, our social security work stops working. So I think it's a good motivation to think about first kind of how to get more people. Talent and development that comes from after that. But we are obviously very, very happy when, for example, Polish researcher comes to Finland and starts a company there. I know it's also it's controversial, and I'm solve a problem in the end of my message. I think one thing what we learned very quickly is that we have a very, very good public education system, worldwide known, from primary schools to universities. Problem is that for this problem, 500,000 people or 130,000 people in technology industries, it is too slow. It is too slow. So if you tell them, even if you give them money to universities, now hire more students, it takes them 5 years to graduate and another 5 years to be really successful in the industry and continue that. And therefore we are working more and more on public-private partnership. So how can we get the industry and the private sector to solve parts of the problem? This is not a way from the universities. We kind of industry gives a full support for universities, but also understanding that they cannot solve all small talent changes, because many times industry can need such a kind of with the 4-week program to solve new skills. Say, person comes from the public sector work in the where we have seen a clerk, and she needs to be educated to be AI data cleansing program. So how you clean the data for AI to manage and so on. And these kind of programs are now being developed and then work together also to find people for those both in Finland and outside. But I think my kind of, I said that it's controversial that kind of we invite Polish people to come to Finland. You have had a lot of brain drain. People have been, yesterday I was at the dinner with many smart people in this room, and most of them talked about that you are worried about that you are losing people abroad. And my message to you is that kind of keep developing your country like you have been doing until now, and they will come back. And they will come back, they have gained interest. They are smarter, they have new networks and so on. And this country, if you are able to build this country so that you invite them back, then you will be even stronger. But you need to deserve it. So please work hard to make this a good country.
Indeed, thank you a lot. And one of the panelists, Jara, please.
Katarzyna. So I think the part of the panel is related to trust as well. And trust is not, when we are thinking about bringing people together, like we have to trust and build a relationship. I think here we have to be super cautious. Like friendship is not the same like a professional relationship, because if not, we are creating toxic environments. to force people to be friends, to work together. So here is more the discussion about values and respect, being professional, listen to each other. But as well, this is related to talent, because when we are doing research or businesses or collaborations, our partner will be not in our backyard, no, in the same street like we are. And we are used to, as a local bias, to have, if you are not there in my street, you don't exist. So when we are talking about innovation ecosystems, it's about this kind of online connectivity, like provide us to contact to everyone we need and we can reach in Europe or internationally, from research, business, public institutions. But that is the trust, to trust the people. Like, I know this researcher from France has the knowledge I need, and then we can start working together. But as well, the trust, like maybe a researcher can become an entrepreneur because they are reskilling, they are learning the process to change from a research mindset to entrepreneur mindset. And I trust them to do this change. And this is the part as well of talent, of reskilling the people we know in locally, but as well not locally, to have this knowledge, this acquisition of this knowledge, and to change themselves. And here I think is the part as well of like, we are all connected, we have to trust each other, to learn new skills, then we have the talent from anyone. But as well, when we are doing businesses, it's as well to trust like the customer will be not in the local area, but will be in another country. And as well, this is the trust and this mindset we need as a European to work as an ecosystem, all connected. And for instance, like an example, we are building the Eurospace Hub, very deep tech Eurospace. And the point we found as a very practical case is like all the SBIC, the ESA Business Innovation Centers, they have in every country, one. When we approach one SBIC, they say, why our startups need to talk to the other SBIC? When one SBIC is asking us to look for a research expert or neurophonic hardware, whatever, they have not these contacts. So they have not access to ESA experts, they have not access to DLR in Germany expert or any kind of university expert. They contact us. I think that's the problem. No? The connectivity. To this bias, we have a local bias is super strong. So what we are doing is like this digital platform to connect everyone, and we are getting started with people who has this mindset of connectivity and working together. And then the others will come later. But we cannot work with people, they are traditional thinking, maybe. They are not having this innovation mindset or this collaboration mindset. We kick off with the people they have this innovation mindset because we are doing a transformation in the space industry. But as well as the access. All the startups, in this case of SBIC, and academics in research, in space research, they don't know where to find the funding calls. They don't know the AIT programs. They don't know the public procurement processes to have the first customer. They have no idea. And that's the first point. They have no idea about the venture capital for space. And that's why we have the statistics. 40% of the public funding coming from Europe is used. The rest is not used. And it's because this knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you a lot for this perspective. Peter, would you like to add something upon this? The 2023 will be the EU Year of Skills.
First, perhaps one sentence where Jara just stopped, and this brings me back to the point made by Zygmunt. The added value from participating in the EU research project is not only to get good funding, once you made it, but the connections, that you have connections across disciplines, across countries, across markets. European Year of Skills, thanks for pointing me to that. We have the I mean, I mentioned also the skills gap already. We know that this is a crucial factor of success. And our president has announced it in September that next year would be the European Years of Skills, with 4 objectives. First, to invest more, better, and inclusively, so across the EU. Second, to be more relevant with social partners to see what are the skills we need to develop. Thirdly, to focus on what we discussed the entire afternoon, the digital and the green transition, the deep societal challenges, deep tech, if you will. And fourthly, also to attract talents from abroad. So this is not a big funding program. It's 10 or 11 million euros. But there will be plenty of opportunities under this year for engaging, for making workshops, for proposing flagships. It would be great if from today there would be, from your session, there would be a flagship for the European Year of Skills coming up, which we could then celebrate together next year.
Challenge accepted. Thank you for the challenge. So, unfortunately, we are running out of time, but as Zygmunt is raising hand and he's my boss, so please,
Yes, I would like
final
to say
remarks.
that in Poland we have some also good practices. For example, how to encourage SMEs. We have millions of SMEs to start R&D activities. It is also a challenge how to find the proper coaches to do it. And here I have a question to Katarzyna, because she is the coordinator of Innovation Coach Project. We should share this experience with our participants, I think, in a few words.
Thank you very much. So I'm head of the Innovation Coach Project, which is targeting the collaboration of the business and academia, as Jara and Krzysztof mentioned, is very, very relevant. So it's providing coaches coming from academia, but with an experience as well from the business sector, to companies who are very beginners in innovation and research. So what is it for? It is for to enable them starting innovation activities, to support the mindset change on one hand, but on the other hand, to provide practical knowledge and practical tools how to do it. And last but not least, from which to finance their activities. Because financing here is as well one of the weakest links. And we have been developing Innovation Coach since 2019, first as a pilot. Soon we will receive we will obtain a critical mass of 1,000 companies who went through the coaching scheme. It has been, the program has been very well assessed. We are doing this in a partnership with the Ministry for Funds and Regional Development, who is a coordinator. BPT PAN is a main partner implementing all the activities. So, ladies and gentlemen, using the opportunity, I would like to invite you for the collaboration as coaches, because here we are in the Technical University, but also if you know the companies who would like to start their activities on the innovation, they are very much welcome. So I believe it was a great conclusion. Before I will thank you, I hope we still have 5 minutes at least for taking a few questions from the audience, because the discussion was very interesting. We tackled a lot of points. Please, who would like to, from our audience, who would like to add something or ask a question to our panelists? No one? Or an announcement? Please, Dr. Gajewski. Do we have a mic, or should it be?
I have a question. If we look into the title of, let's say, acceleration through research and innovation, so how to make the industry, especially SMEs, to be hungry of research and innovation? What could be the good incentive for them for cooperation with the, let's say, institute, research institute and universities? because what we feel here in Poland is a little bit that not always they have enough interest in doing it. They find it too difficult, too, I don't know, not bureaucratic or whatever. So maybe we should change ourselves to be more responsive to their needs if we know what their needs are.
I believe Krzysztof and Pekka.
This is very important question, and this is question for another entire panel. Just briefly, as I said before, when a company would like to find some solution in cooperation with some R&D institution, where is a gap between what they want to have and what knowledge they have. So if they want to improve incrementally their products or service, they are looking for some solutions how to do it. And if they don't have this solution in-house, they are looking outside. And now is this response which I delivered before. There is pending collaboration. So they have to know each other. Nobody could go to University of Technology, to institute or somebody if they don't know them. So collaboration, pending collaboration, even on the very low level at the beginning, is crucial in my opinion. So these relations have to be built before. And then when you have a relation, when you know, okay, maybe this guy, I have mobile in my computer, could solve it because I know him and I have a long relation with him. This is first. And the second is trust. Because if you don't trust each other, you don't ask somebody to help you solve your problems if you don't trust. And that is why clusters are not only one solution. There is a lot of things. Even this kind of conferences is example of how to bring people together, two different groups of people: industry, business, and academia. But generally speaking, what should be our goal, also supported by European funds, is to establish as many as it is possible opportunities for those societies to work together, and then we can think about that maybe sometimes one of those SMEs, even in big companies, situation is much easier. They have pending relations, they have R&D departments, they have agreements, but SMEs, this is the problem. This is very important what you just said. And I use this 30 seconds for announcement. In 2 weeks, we will have in Katowice 8th Congress of Polish clusters, and we will continue this kind of discussion between those two societies, academia, universities, and business. So please feel invited. It's for free, and that's from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Krzysztof. Pekka would like to take the floor.
It's a perfect question, and I'm very glad that, Professor, you asked that, because I think it so demonstrates a will to work with the industry. And I think you started answering it in the end where you said that maybe we should be more responsive and kind of go and discuss. And I think this is one part of it. So kind of go and talk to the industry, listen to the problems they have. And organizations like clusters or consultants can matchmake in that. But I think there is one step before that. This is, why should you go to talk to the industry? I have a good friend who is a mechanical engineer in Finland, and his work has worked all his life with the industry. And I asked him, why do you do that? But why don't you just want to do what you yourself come up with? And he says that with industry, he gets the most interesting research problems. And the best papers and most cited papers he has ever written has been with something that he has started with the industry. So it's not a conflict of interest. It's not like if you work with industry, you cannot be good with a fundamental scientist. And this is very important. And kind of one part of the solution, the final part, is that kind of for policymakers, please continue doing instruments that incentivize cooperation between industry and academia, because that really drives it.
And Zygmunt?
Yeah, it was a good suggestion, Krzysztof. For sure, we'll continue our discussions. We will prepare some conclusions and recommendations, because during this forum, we have established some kind of partnership. All the panelists are actually the representatives of the forum partners. Krzysztof, Polish clusters, Knowledge for Innovation, Roland, Collabwith, Jara, European Commission under auspices, yeah, and European Association of Innovation Consultants. So it is, we have a plan for long-standing cooperation. Thank you for this.
Thank you very much. And I believe at this stage we will finish our session. So big applause for the panelists. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, not only for panelists, also for moderator, Katarzyna Walczyk-Matuszyk. Thank you for all of you.